How's everybody doing? Welcome back. We're going to be watching part 2 tonight, which will be very exciting. Gonna be walking through. Hey, hi! Um, I'm thrilled. It'll be really fun. I might have to keep this live kind of short. I have had one of the wildest days I've had for a minute. And if it gets cut short, it means I'm getting some news. So please keep your fingers crossed if I get cut and send good, I don't know, vibes or whatever you've got. If we get cut short, I'll be back as soon as I can. I'm gonna finish part 2 no matter what. But waiting on some news. Nothing medical, nothing devastating, nothing bad, but just wild. Anyway, let's dive in. So yesterday we did prequels in part 1. If you haven't watched prequels and part 1 of Lucids on YouTube, please go check it out. I've worked a year to get to this finale. It's been almost a year. I think the first Jasper came out April 4th or so. And so it will have been a year about that I've been working on getting to this finale. And so if you haven't watched any of Lucids, please go on YouTube, please check it out. Tell your friends to do so. I'm really proud of the project. I'm really proud of what it's become. And I think it's awesome. And I think you'll think so too. And I think your friends will like it as well. Okay, so prequels in part 1. Prequels, we learned that Jasper had a cult named after him by a guy named Jasper Prime. Jasper Prime was actually Quinn, and he was trying to take Jasper's identity in order to inherit Jasper's father's wealth. We learn later in Quinn's sort of explanation that it wasn't about the money at all. It was just about the fact that he never had sort of a familial relationship. Like he didn't really know his parents, which we know later is because he had an abusive relationship with his mother in her dreamscape. It gets a little confusing, but don't worry about it. So Jasper and Quinn walk off into the sunset, very happy. Benjamin and Oliver, which is sort of the main meat of the concept of Lucids. Let's see. Oliver runs up to Benjamin in a Whole Foods and says, "Wake up, you're 7 years old, you fell asleep in math class and all of this has just been a bad dream." Eventually, they do, in fact, wake up. 7 years old in a second grade math class, and their lives, it seems like, were all a dream. What it turns out to be is that, in fact, everybody's reality is someone else's dream. So they were living in a dreamscape that was Benjamin's, because he had the apple, right? He had the apple in that dreamscape. So Jasper, Quinn, all of that happened within Benjamin's dreamscape. They meet Mrs. Hills, who teaches them how to jump between your reality and your dreamscape, right? So how to be like, I'm here in second grade and I want to be in high school in my other dreamscape. In my dreamscape. Okay, now I'm back in my reality in second grade. Now I want to be in a retirement home in my dreamscape. So she teaches them about that. They are learning the ways because Benjamin eventually wants to get back to a place where he can live permanently in his dreamscape because he was engaged to Isabel. We did learn that she was pregnant. He had like a lot of emotional attachments there, so he wants to live in his dream. He never wants to wake up. Oliver, we're a little bit more iffy on. Oliver's just sort of been going along, and we don't really know a lot about his backstory or anything. We just know from Mrs. Hills that she knows that he's pretty messed up. Let me think. Then we find out that at some point in Benjamin's dreamscape timeline, we don't know when because Benjamin is not a very well-trained Lucid yet, we learned that he joined the Jasper cult. So he was part of the Jasper skits the entire time, and he's there in the Jasper skits. The question is, why is he there, right? Why did he join? And Mrs. Hills, of all people, realizes in that moment that the person leading the cult, Jasper Prime, aka Quinn, has been her son. That's her son. Her son, her lost memory of her son, who had escaped her dreamscape somehow and had gone off somewhere else, but still exists, but she doesn't know where he is. And there he is. There's Quinn, for some reason, in Benjamin's dreamscape. And we don't know why he's there, but he's there, and he started a cult, and it's called the Jasper cult or whatever. That's where we left off. And now in Lucids Part 1, sorry, that's not where we left off. Lucids Part 1, we've started the fight of like, we have to get Quinn back to Mrs. Hills because she misses him so much. And she's like, I want my son back. So now it's up to Benjamin to go into his dreamscape, follow around Quinn, and eventually get him to bite the apple, which is the sign of dreamscape ownership. Bite it so he comes back to Benjamin's dreamscape and is reunited with Mrs. Hills. And Mrs. Hills has said that she will not teach Benjamin and Oliver how to live in their dreamscape unless they do this. So it's an ultimatum. So they do have to do this. And that's where we are. So now Benjamin is trying to get Quinn to bite into this apple in order to bring him back to his reality. And Mrs. Hills and Oliver are watching. And meanwhile, we're watching the Jasper series happen again, but this time we're watching it through the eyes of Benjamin, which is pretty fun. So I got to recreate the Jasper series, but through the eyes of someone different. Okay, so let's roll. All right, I'm gonna turn this guy around. Here we are. Lucids 2 actual final. Hilarious. Okay, let me lower you guys. I actually use Final Cut Pro for my editing, and I'm not going to show you it on there because I don't think any of the files are still around from the original. But here we go. All right, so we're starting. Yeah, off we go. Okay, that song was one of the most fun songs I have ever had to write for Lucids. That was like, I just loved that song. I stayed up until, oh my God, like 4 a.m. just re-recording because I was enjoying it so much. Anyway, don't do that if you have school the next day, but wow, it was really fun. Okay, so now we go into the first attempt.
Jasper, number one, Jasper, first Jasper, prime, right, yes. I was thinking maybe we could, spot.
Okay, if you listen really closely in the background, there's an elevator music style of the Jasper theme playing throughout all of this. It's like what's on their speaker. They're listening to the Jasper theme, but it's played with like a little marimba. It's like a really little elevator song type deal, but it's the Jasper theme, which is fun.
The fruit bowl a little bit. Meal. This is the meal.
Jasper fact 57, everyone. Despite being allergic to it, Jasper's favorite fruit is the banana, implying that his favorite meal will be a bowl of bananas. Yum.
Why was there a question mark?
This is our first dinner with Jasper himself.
All right. That took me forever. That's me at stage door of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child with Jasper. That took a very long time to get. There's him learning how to drive his first car. There's him at baseball practice. There's him being embarrassed by his mom taking a photo of him while playing video games. That's his mom forcing him to take piano lessons. There's one of him reading the paper. There's one of him in a cactus garden. Him graduating is up there, actually.
That'd be perfect.
Where's him graduating? Do we see it? Yeah, there he is. He's graduating and reading a book. Those were fun.
Will we be faking allergic reactions after dinner as well, sir? Of course. Very good, sir. Now I can get you alone.
Oh, that shot took forever. This shot took forever. La 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 la. That took forever to get down. All right, so now we're seeing the moment after Jasper 3 when he's knocked out Jasper. There's Jasper, and there's him switching clothes. So we're watching the process of him switching clothes with Jasper. That body is just my mom. I did not actually drag her. You'll notice I never start dragging. And now there's nothing in my hands, so I never dragged her. Is the doo-doo bit the apple gonna come back in the finale? I will not say. Okay. So this is the aftermath of when they knock out Jasper and Jasper Prime in Jasper number, what, 5? Yeah.
No, I did not. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. You knocked out Jasper. I knocked out Jasper Prime. No, oh my God, they switched clothes. No, that's what we're trying to stop. Exactly like Jasper. They already did. No, when would they have time to do that? God, this couldn't get more complicated. Yo, real talk, though. I didn't listen to either of you. Neither of you are Jasper.
The finale is releasing Friday.
What is a Jasper?
Jasper Fice.
Take a pilgrimage up
To very steep cliff.
Then you sacrifice the one person you love the most, right? You've seen you go
To karaoke song. What's wrong with you, bro? This entire scene, by the way, was improvised. I did not know that this was going to be a scene. It was going to be a scene of just Benjamin sitting there and being called back to his reality. And then I was like, why don't we throw in some like Jasper lines here and there? And so I started by filming Alex. And then I like came up with this idea that there could be an entire scene. And so this scene was never actually scripted. This was, if you can believe it, in a weird sort of way, this was improvised. So fun. Here he comes, my father. There he is. There's my dad. Well, it's me, but it's being voiced by my dad.
Living single, mad about you, Frasier, the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Selling Sunset twice.
Almost what's in the Sweeney Chronicles next.
Hey, I wrote that.
Oh God, Benjamin, you're awake.
Yeah, don't you think they'll notice I'm gone?
No, your brain switches to its backup storage, basically like autopilot.
Backup storage?
Okay, I filmed this on a random street, and you have to understand the camera was going the entire time, so I would be running out of the car while stripping my clothes, then get in the other side, running out of the car, stripping my clothes, then get in the back. Then I realized that this take wasn't right. I got the wrong timing on this, so then I ran out of the car, stripped my clothes, and came back in that way. There were people on this street, I want you to know, like people who were living on this street who just, I mean, this, what is it, like 10-second clip cost me so much humiliation. But, yeah, here we are.
In order to form a more perfect union.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
And who are you?
Oh my, we're Benjamin and Oliver. I'm Oliver, he's Benjamin, and we're best pals exploring the vast universe of dreamscape travel. Mrs. Hills is training us to become lucid so we can get back to our old life. Now, who are you?
Training children, Lydia?
All right, I just want to say that when my mom had been doing Mrs. Hills for a while, but my dad had not yet acted. And my dad is not an actor. Neither of my parents are actors. But my dad came on, and I don't know if he had been like listening to my mom nail it for months at that point. But a lot of these line readings were first line readings. Like he did these line readings the first time through, and it was insane. It was so good. I mean, that's how they both are. Most of the time is like with lines like these, it's just like. So you're right. They're incredibly good.
Children, which brings us to our first adventure when we woke up from
Lydia.
None of this concerns you, Arthur.
Doesn't concern. I woke up one morning to find my wife practically in a coma with a note next to her telling me not to worry, but if I try to wake her up or take her to the hospital, she might die. Okay, I guess I won't wake her up. So I wait. I watch all those aforementioned shows.
You have great taste, by the way.
Thank you. And then I decide, you know what? I might as well start investigating. So I go to your office.
After I told you.
Yeah, Lydia, I
Found the Pride and Prejudice fan fiction.
And we are never watching that miniseries again. I read your notes. All the studies you'd been doing on memories and dreams and the uncertainty principle and string theory. I read it all. And still, you hadn't woken up yet. And I've been feeding you through tubes and all the rest for weeks now. So I figure I might as well give it a try.
I love the music in the back right now, by the way.
A few jumps into a few people's heads later, and here you are. I thought maybe you'd gotten
This is the
lost.
closest I will ever do to a romantic scene between me and myself, like purposefully, like romantic. I know people read into characters and stuff, but this is the only time it's like a romantic relationship that I purposely put in there. And let me tell you, it was weird, but but we got through it, and it's okay.
Maybe you were trying to find your way back. Find your way back? You seem just fine doing that.
Oh, that took forever. Hang on. Let's just have a moment for that cross. This took forever. Watch this.
You seem to...
Okay, so we've got my mom, I think, in the jacket, passing Benjamin. Then we've got across the action line that we had originally been filming, but we're carrying her eye line across from this direction to this direction. So that's the thing that is moving the action line. So we feel okay when it cuts to him right above the action line, and now we're over this shoulder, so it works. It's just crazy. That was an insane moment.
Arthur, please tell
What
me.
have you been doing? What have you been making these boys do?
Whoa, hey, man, listen.
I think that was my dad's arm flying at... No, it was my mom's arm flying at me.
We're just midway through reciting word for word the transcript of season 6, episode 11 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Seriously? That's where my brain goes?
It was actually pretty impressive. Okay, fine, where was I?
Now just breathe.
Just breathe, everything's gonna be fine.
This take of me reciting the Kardashians, I think in its raw form is maybe 7 minutes, 8 minutes of me just trying over and over and over again to get it right, because I knew I needed to get it word perfect, and it took me forever. So this is the only take I actually got it right, I think.
What's wrong with you guys? My diamond earring fell off in the ocean and now it's gone. Kim, there's people that are dying. Anyone would be annoyed at me and I worked really hard for it.
This music, by the way, was actually improvised. It was a sketch I was going to use, because I was just like, let me run through the scene. Let me just mess around on the piano. And because I was like, let me just hear if any chords work, and I'll, fill it in later. Or I'll take what works and what doesn't. And I played it through, and I ended up keeping the first thing I played. Sometimes things just work. And you have to always trust when things work, because you put so much time and effort behind the hard stuff that when things finally work, it's not a trick. It's like a really wonderful miracle coincidence thing. And you got to trust that.
Trying to find Dorothy?
No, that's sweet of you, thank you.
Part 6 is coming out on Friday. And Goner, I lost. I'm working on it again, but I lost because
He
my
always does.
external hard drive died.
You seem pretty angry.
He'll come back when he's ready.
Ready for what?
Oh, Ducky Succulent,
Maybe he'll
hello!
understand that we might see our son again.
Oh, this is so sad.
Quinn, calling himself Jasper Prime, whatever that is. God, I hope it's a phase.
All right, before we get into this, I want you to know, and I can never apologize to my mom enough for this, but she was helping me with this scene. First of all, she nailed it. Like, this monologue was so hard, and she nailed it. We spent about an hour with her in that armchair, because I always do the audio on location. In that armchair, we recorded her audio, and for the first time, I got to talk to my parents. Throughout all of this, I've been able to talk to my parents what I learned in acting school, and it was one of the coolest moments ever. It was just hanging out with my mom, being this is how I want you to spin this line. This is a technique you can think of. This is some imagery you can use. And she nailed it. She didn't need a lot of it, but it was really cool. Anyway, when I actually came time to lip syncing, I got so frustrated. There were so many early takes where I would just mess up, and it's such a long thing that I would get so frustrated. And as soon as I just took a deep breath and did the thing, it was so much easier. So this, also a lesson in temperament when you're on set of I was stressed because we were losing the night. We were it was getting late. I had been at this for so long. And as soon as it was just you know what, let's take it as slow as it needs to be, it then worked. And so that taught me a lot for working on the rest of this series. But it ended up pretty amazing, and it is mostly my mom's work. But this was a hard lip sync.
Months old. One morning. But somewhere, he grew up. When I found out about dreamscapes and the rest, I could only think of him. And I searched through every part of my dreams looking for him. But he was gone. That I could not believe. I did not forget my son. I started looking through other people's dreams, and then the dreams of people inside those dreams. I would go one night at a time, then days. And
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt. there's a little swallow there that my mom did that I managed to do at the same time, and it will never cease to be the coolest coincidence ever. That was crazy, because that was not intended. That was just super crazy. Oh, also something. You don't notice, but this entire time, very, very slowly, we are zooming in. And that makes it feel not so static. You don't notice it, but like very slowly we are zooming in for this entire thing on both characters. And it's so subtle that you don't notice, but your brain is like, oh, okay, these frames are still active, right? And that's something to do when you're like, when you got a speech or something, or you want to draw the audience in. You literally draw them in. You just make sure they don't notice it.
I forgot how long I'd been gone. Arthur had no idea what I was doing. He thought I was just tired from the grief. But I was always looking. Always. And then suddenly, there he was. A young man. Stuck in someone else's dream.
But why us? How did he get there?
I don't know. There are so many things I don't know. I should have told Arthur. It was a mistake to keep him away. That I know.
Why didn't you?
We all have secrets, Oliver. Some grow so large that you can't see anything else. Some are so small they can fit in your pocket.
Woohoo! Somebody knows something.
Do you want some tea? I'm going to make some. Always helps me calm down.
Sedona! For anybody interested, this song is now on Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube Music and everywhere, if you want to go buy it or stream it or whatever.
Once you get past the point of not knowing what's real anymore.
Oh, how does she know? She is an extremely good lucid, and I think something about, it's just sort of an intuition. It's like energy. It's knowing that, like, people aren't what they say they are. I just assume it's a little bit magical, right? Where she's like such a good lucid that she can attune into when other people are dreaming, if that makes sense. So she knew, right? She doesn't, like, when she's talking to Benjamin and she's like, and your friend, don't even get me started on your friend in Taobao 7, no, in Taobao 8. She's like, don't even get me started on your friend. She doesn't know the trauma about the brother. She just knows that something's up because he has an apple as well. Crazy.
All that's ever been real is what you chose. You're real, Oliver.
At least to me.
Donnie, you're real.
Wild child, always gone before the sun can rise, but all you wanted to hear all your life is someone's voice at night saying they're already far. So he has an apple. Oliver's had an apple this entire time. What the hell is going on? Yay! All right. Already meant it, but if there's no one to say it to you. All right. And that is Lucids Part 2. Not bad. Pretty fun. What are the questions I'm seeing here? It's real is relative. Real is relative, right? Because technically everybody is dreamt by someone else, right? So, like, where did it start? Who's the real person? It's a little muddy because if there are infinite dreamscapes, right? That means that everybody was always dreamt by someone else. So there is no real person, if that makes sense. When is the next Lucid coming? Lucid finale is coming Friday, March 19th. Really exciting. I'm so thrilled about it. It's ready to go, but I wanted to give a little bit of, marketing. Is the Discord free for anyone to join? I think so. I'm not in charge of it. I have my own little corner. I don't even know how to link to it, but someone else does, I think. Yes, the Discord is free to join. Yeah. So yeah, that's the second episode of Lucids. We'll do part 3 tomorrow. Part 3 is a little bit longer, which will be great. So come back tomorrow. I think I'm free. I'll let you know on Twitter and Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Twitter and Instagram, go follow me on Twitter and Instagram. That's where I announce everything. Same name, Nicholas Podany. Go follow me. That's where I announce release dates, new projects, stuff like that. So I'll be doing my live, I'm pretty sure, at 8 p.m. Eastern time, Eastern North America. I don't know what the whole strip is called, but EST is when I'll be doing the live tomorrow for Lucids Part 3, 5 p.m. PST. Anyway, I still think the original world is Oliver's brother, and we're seeing his dreamscape. Technically, in the finale parties, we don't know about Oliver's brother quite yet, but we will. How did I come up with the characters' names? Do I just... Yeah, I seriously was just thinking about what should they be named. Benjamin Oliver. Okay. Mrs. Hills. Well, here's some significance. Mrs. Hills is my mom's maiden name. And Arthur and Lydia are my great-grandparents. So Arthur and Lydia Hills were my great-grandparents. So that's a little bit of thing. So I come up with the names. If you haven't, go check out the merch at the merch store. You can find it through YouTube. It's also just the Lucid store. It's in my bio, I'm pretty sure, on my link tree, so you can check that out. Is it harder to lip sync your mom's lines or your dad's? My mom's, because she has... Mrs. Hills is wordy, so that's hard. But I do find that I'm more accustomed, obviously, to my mom's rhythm because I've been voicing for her for longer. So when my dad has lines, I sometimes get a little tripped up about like, oh, that's right, he breathes in different places than my mom does, if that makes any sense. Are you considering the narrator and hero series on YouTube? Yes, I am, absolutely. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to get to it. My life is going nuts. All hopefully good. We'll see, but yeah. Why are Benjamin and Oliver like connected? Because they dreamt the same. Right? Why are they connected? We still don't know. We still don't know why they. We still don't know. Do Benjamin and Oliver have last names? No. But was it you that came up with the last? What was it like? Tarbo? I don't remember what it was. It was something based on Taobao. It's not canon. I don't know what their last names are. Will we find out Oliver's brother's name? No, I don't think we ever do. I named him Elliot at one point, but it didn't make the cut, so we don't know Oliver's brother's name. I named him Elliot, though. But that never got released, so I don't know if that's canon. I don't think we learned. Level of second grade. Sorry, do I study film scenes right after your parents? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, I do film the scenes like right after my parents because we're in such a rush most of the time. In order to get these out on the schedule, I've been getting them out and I'm the only one doing it. Like I edit, I score and everything. Even to get part 6 out a month after part 5 was a doozy. Like this has been so hard. And so as soon as when I'm filming, I'm running most of the time. Just because we don't have any time. So as soon as I get their audio, I'm recording. Will all the songs be on Spotify? I'm working on it. I'm definitely working on it. All of the songs basically you hear in Lucids are not done. The score is, I've been putting the score out on SoundCloud. I would have to get the score sort of mixed and mastered by a professional in order to put it out on Spotify. But all of the songs are, taking me a while. And obviously I've been focused so much on just editing these things, so I haven't really had time. Random question. I'm thinking of getting a goose tattoo on my ankle. What do you think? Yeah, if it's good, right? Make sure it's a good goose tattoo. And make sure you have a reason behind it. Unless you don't have a reason behind it, that's the reason to get it. Sure. Dude, they sound professional. Thank you. I think they sound professional, and then you listen to them alongside like a professionally produced track, and there's just like a little... It's math, right? As to like what frequencies are bugging you, and you want it to sound as clean as possible before you put it out. And so I always trust. I think an important part of being a creative person, an important part of being any kind of producer, is knowing when to give someone else the job, right? Like I know that I can do these things well, and I know that mixing and mastering is not I know that people can do it better than me. And so if I have the means and I have the time and I have the money to hire someone else, I will. And so, yeah. I used 2 of your scores. Oh, hey! That's awesome. For a PSA that I had to do for school. Awesome. I hope that worked out well. Obviously, if you can download anything on SoundCloud, if I've made it downloadable, it means that it's yours to use. If I haven't made stuff downloadable and you're making money on it, please let me know, because that's illegal. But it's so like, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna get lost because I got a lot to do today. I got an early morning. I've barely eaten anything today. It has been a wild day, but we are. Y'all put me in such a good mood all the time, and it's wonderful to rewatch these series with you. And I just cannot wait for Friday. I'm so excited. You are going to love it. I think. I'm going to guarantee it. I think you're really going to love it. I made the ending that I am a fan of this show. And as a fan of this show, I made the ending that I wanted. And I couldn't be more proud of it. And I'm stoked. All right. Bye, everybody. I will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST, 5 p.m. PST, all the other time zones, whenever that is.